In this video, guys, I'll be doing a book review for Morning Star by Pierce Brown. This is the third and last book in the original Red Rising trilogy. The series has expanded beyond this, but this closes out the first trilogy that is told from Darrow's point of view. This book is crazy. This this is nuts. I love this book. Not more than Golden Sun, even though I've rated it the same technically, but Golden Sun was the one. But this book is fantastic. It's not perfect by any means, and I think there are more flaws with this than Golden Sun, but it is a fantastic end to what has been, well, what is now my second favorite book series after Harry Potter. Like, it is right up there. And if I'm doing lists where I don't include Harry Potter, I don't know, some people do that where they kind of put Harry Potter to the side because it's just so special. This would be number one, essentially. So in this book, everything's coming to head. We've built up all sorts of craziness from the first two books, Red Rising and Golden Sun. Davros' secret is pretty much out, and it is full out war, and there's no holding back. There are rebellions all over the place. The core, which is, Octavia, like the main society, the core, is being rebelled by numerous people. There is uprisings on pretty much every planet. And it's going to be so tough to not give away spoilers. So I think the plot description will be brief. It's war. It's war, it's war, it's war. And we have to figure out weird alliances. We have to figure out weird relationships and weird stances with people. We finished off Golden Sun. Golden Sun, the cliffhanger was one of the best cliffhangers, one of the best endings in the book ever. And the start of this is just, it's so much confusion. Everything, it's like, where does everybody stand on this? Especially the likes of Mustang, because she knows, she knows who Daryl is. Darrow, not Daryl. She knows who Darrow is, and so it's everything's just interesting with this. Severo has taken over as Ares, and he is, he's trying to live up to the name. He's trying to live up to his father's name, but is not. Is he did some things well, to be fair to him, in the grand scheme of things, and he did some things not very well, and so is, oh god, how can I even not get into spoilers with this? I'm just not. Just read this. If you're watching this book review, chances are you've read Red Rising at least, and probably Golden Sun. Just it will not disappoint. And I see why Morning Star is a lot of people's favorite in the series. I still think Golden Sun's better, but this is one of the best endings to a series ever as well. Like, I have to give it its props. Let me talk about a few things in the book, and this won't be, a spoiler review. It will be spoiler free, and so let me try with this. What this book does very well is, like I said, there's confusion regarding alliances, and what that does is bring tension to the story, right? And so we get in. Obviously, the goal was always to get the caste system to dismantle it and get the colors to mix together, live together as equals. But things happen as as Darrow and the crew are getting people together. Things happen where it's just not straightforward that his name alone, or his cause alone, or the son's cause, which is Darrow's cause. I don't know why I keep saying Darrow. Might as well just say Reaper, which is Darrow's cause. It might not be enough. There's still just the ideology isn't enough. There's a history, and there's deep pain, and there's deep trauma there. And so even with the low colors, and even with the golds that are supposedly on our side, it's kind of weird. It's like, at times I was questioning, like, are you really on our side? Like, are you really going to dismantle everything? And you know, which in turn diminishes the privilege that they have, and the status that they have. And so there were times with just multiple characters, and with Darrow's friends, it's just like, and the characters that we've grown to love through the first two books, it's just like, are you really riding out? Are you really about this? And so I thought that was great. And it was realistic because that's what happens in revolutions. Like that's what happens just even with like allies in general. It's like you are questioning what is your cause, where does our common cause end and where does it start? And what are you going to do if our common cause ends and whatnot? Because, Dara's friends are quite powerful goals. They come from quite powerful families. They're due to inherit vast enterprises and whatnot and resources. So it definitely creates a lot of tension in this book for sure. And, all the better to be fair. And with that, with just the vast number of people they have, the fleet, the people that they're looking after, naturally, and Darrow does comment on this throughout the book, it's like things can happen outside of his control, and he's accepting that so many things happen outside of his control. He knows that he can't quite keep prisoners safe if the low colors want them dead. He knows that, and I like that he's realistic and he's not naive because it is true that operationally it's so vast that there's so many, there's spies and there's all sorts. And as we saw in the last book, people will betray him. His closest will betray him. So again, done very well, and it kind of just again it just adds to the tension. That's what Pierce Brown has done extremely well throughout this whole series. He's added tension, and he's been masterfully able to capitalize on it and build on it. This book, like I was so nervous to get into this, even during the battles. Like my stomach, I was like, like when you're like anticipating something, like I was having actual physiological reactions while reading this book because it was so good. And that's just a testament to Pierce Brown's exceptional writing. And yeah, I absolutely love Pierce Brown's writing. He's my favorite author right now for sure. Definitely hands down. And I'll be continuing with the series for sure. Moving on to the characters. As always, the characters are so, so, so good. So good. There's so much growth. There's so much payoff. There's so much death, but I think that every character's ending was perfect, and it's quite rare to see. And I want to talk about a few relationships. Like when it comes to Severo and Mustang, I don't. You know what? When I was reading this book, like as I was going through it, I was like, something happens. I'm like, why isn't Severo trusting Mustang? Like, what's going on? And I know, Mustang's always been a bit. She's an epic character. I think she's one of my favorite female characters ever because she's so smart. She's so good, but she has a dark side. She's just a master at the political game. That's her realm. But she'll back the beef, and she's pretty good with a sword and whatnot, or razor, or sling, whatever they call it. She will get things done, and I love her for that. And I think I was reading this because I was so confused when I was reading this because in Golden Sun, when I think what's his name, Augustus, Mustang and Jackal's father, when he, when Darrow was under his service, right? I think they were on a ship, and I think they just escaped the Sovereign, and he's trying to establish control again, and obviously everyone defers to him because he's the arch governor, and Severo was there, Mustang and Tactus, Darrow, etc., right? And Vitra, I believe too. And I remember, I think Augustus asked Severo, "Who are you loyal to?" And I think he went in that case. It was supposed to be like everyone was supposed to defer to him, right? Because he was still in charge, even though they were now technically in open rebellion with the sovereign. And Severo flat out said, "I'm first loyal to the Reaper, and second, I'm loyal to Mustang." Because in that book, Mustang had sent out a message, I think, to get Severo back, I believe, to aid Darrow after he'd met the Sovereign and whatnot, and all that was going on. So I always felt like, he knew what the time was. But because of certain things in this book, I was like, why isn't he? What's up with him and Mustang's relationship? Then I realized certain things. Certain things got revealed in the book, and it was like, oh, okay, that's what would do it. So yeah, that's them. Darrow, Cassius, we get more of him in this book. We didn't get in Golden Sun, we did get more of him in this book, and it was fantastic. His his story arc is probably the best one, or one of the best ones in throughout the whole series. I loved everything that went on. It was crazy. I'm not going to spoil anything. It was nuts. The dialogue in this book, as well as in all other books, so many quotables. The dialogue is so strong. It is just absolutely beautiful. Loved it. I think one negative is that unlike Golden Sun, we didn't get a lot of the Sovereign in this book, and we didn't get a lot of the Jackal in this book. We we know Jackal and the Sovereign are the people we're battling, but we didn't. But because Darrow wasn't with them like he was in Golden Sun, face to face, and obviously it's Davro's POV. Davro, I'm just like Davro, Jesus, Darrow's POV. We don't get to see a lot. I mean, and we kind of, and this book, the Sovereign was so grand. I love her character. I love her philosophy, and she's a tyrant. She is a tyrant. She does not want to let go of the power that she has, right? And that was just so epic to see in Golden Sun. And I think also the fear about Jackal and his potential and the damage he can do was greater in Golden Sun, when at times he was with Darrow, he was meeting Darrow, he was talking to Darrow, and there were times when everyone was going off on their mission, doing their bit, where the Jackal was out of sight, and it was like he's doing something. And so with the ending of Golden Sun, even though it came as a surprise and was fantastic, in some ways I wasn't surprised that the Jackal was the one that orchestrated everything, because throughout that book I felt a constant tension, a constant paranoia when the Jackal was not literally face to face with Darrow, honestly, because he is crazy. And he is I do think, and this is another kind of negative, because it's just the single POV from Darrow's perspective, we don't get to fully realize characters like the Jackal and the Sovereign, because we don't see things from their eyes. But at the same time, from a single POV, from a singular POV, Pierce Brown executed this as perfectly as you can, to be fair. And I absolutely love this book. I absolutely adore this book. I adore this series. I love the somber moments in this book that are scattered throughout. We have new characters like Holiday and her brother, I forgot his name, but I think they're blue, no, they're greys from Earth, and they're with Darrow, and they're with the Suns, and just some new characters, and obviously the old ones that we link up with again. The somber moments of just talking, just speaking to family and friends, and opening up was actually quite beautiful and quite touching. We slowed down a lot in this book, which is good. Like, it's fast paced and everything, but when one of my criticisms of Red Rising was that I felt like we didn't slow down enough and like see the world, or fully explore things. And Pierce Brown gets better at that throughout the series. I loved what he did in Golden Sun regarding that. I loved what he did in Morning Star regarding that. So we slow down better, and it allows for conversations, deep conversations about people's lives, what they want the future to look like, their doubts and their fears, and everything. So, and their bloodlust. There's many people that want Adja dead. There's many people who want the Jackal dead. Obviously, there's a million people who want the Reaper dead. And even within the Suns, people don't look at the golds in a good light, especially because they're with Darrow, especially the golds like Mustang and Vitra, because they're with Darrow and they haven't kind of proven themselves to the Suns yet. It's kind of weird that they're still viewed as suspicious, whereas Severo, who's mixed race, he's been with them, and he kind of understands that more. He's in a good standing, and it seems like he doesn't have much to fear. So yeah, characters to love. Vitra, I loved her introduction in Golden Sun. I love her character. I love her relationship with Antonella. I wanted more Antonella in this book, and it's weird that she's lasted so long from the first one, because she is such a snake. She's such a cockroach. What she did was just absolute craziness in Golden Sun. And we see her in this book, and yeah, flipping Antonella. Severo, Severo is plays a very, very big part in this book. Very, very big part in this book. Love Severo. Severo is probably the best character in this book, in the series even. Um, I think he's probably the most beloved character. He's just horrible and nasty and loyal and crazy. And shout out to flipping Severo, man. Love Severo. Yeah, this book is fantastic. I love at the beginning of the book we get the map of the solar system. I won't show it to you because it's a bit of a spoiler, I guess. But it shows the whole solar system and which sections are under which control and which sections are in rebellion or rebelling. So yeah, love this. Love this series. The ending was beautiful. Really, really liked the ending. So yeah. Shout out to Pierce Brown, man. Pierce Brown, you knocked this out of the park, man. I know he continues the world with Iron Gold, and I'm definitely gonna, read the following books and continue with the Red Rising series for sure. This is one of my favorites. Anyway, guys, I have a whole playlist of book reviews, book talks. Check those out. They'll be on your screen right now. Thank you for watching and thank you for listening.